Welcome to our channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Enjoy. Introduction. The two-nation theory is a political idea that emerged in the early 20th century in British India. The theory posits that Hindus and Muslims are two separate nations with distinct identities, cultures, and interests, and that they cannot coexist within a single unified state. The two-nation theory played a central role in the demand for a separate Muslim state in India, which ultimately led to the creation of Pakistan in 1947. The idea continues to shape the political and social landscape of the Indian subcontinent, and its legacy remains a contentious issue in India and Pakistan today. This video will explore the history, significance, and criticisms of the two-nation theory, as well as its legacy and impact on the region. History of the two-nation theory. The origins of the two-nation theory can be traced back to the late 19th century, when Hindu and Muslim leaders in India began to articulate their respective visions for the future of the country. The Indian National Congress, which was founded in 1885, represented the interests of the Hindu community and advocated for a unified, secular India that would be governed by democratic principles. Muslim leaders, on the other hand, felt that their community was not adequately represented within the Congress and that their interests would be better served through a separate political entity. In 1906, the All India Muslim League was formed to represent the interests of Muslims in India and to advocate for greater political autonomy. The two-nation theory was first articulated by Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, a prominent Muslim leader and founder of the Aligarh Muslim University, in the late 19th century. Khan argued that Hindus and Muslims were two separate nations with distinct identities and cultures, and that they could not coexist within a single unified state. This idea gained greater prominence in the 1930s and 1940s, as the demand for a separate Muslim state in India became more urgent. Muslim leaders, such as Muhammad Ali Jinnah, argued that Muslims were a minority in India and that their rights and interests were not adequately protected within a unified, secular state. In 1940, the Muslim League passed the Lahore Resolution, which called for the creation of an independent Muslim state in northwestern and eastern India. This demand was based on the principle of the two-nation theory, which argued that Hindus and Muslims were two separate nations with distinct identities and cultures. After years of political negotiations and social unrest, the British government finally agreed to the creation of Pakistan in 1947. The country was initially divided into two parts: West Pakistan, comprising present-day Pakistan, and East Pakistan, present-day Bangladesh. The idea of Pakistan as an Islamic state was also enshrined in the country's constitution, which was adopted in 1956. Significance of the two-nation theory. The two-nation theory played a significant role in the demand for Pakistan and the creation of the country in 1947. The theory provided a political and ideological basis for the Muslim League's demand for a separate state, and it helped to mobilize support among Muslims in India. The idea of Pakistan as an Islamic state was also significant, as it provided a sense of identity and purpose for the new country. Pakistan was founded on the principles of Islamic democracy, with an emphasis on social justice, equality, and the rule of law. The two-nation theory also had a profound impact on the political and social landscape of India. The idea of Hindu-Muslim unity, which had been a central tenet of the Indian independence movement, was challenged by the theory, and it contributed to a sense of suspicion and mistrust between the two communities. Criticisms of the two-nation theory. The two-nation theory has been the subject of much debate and criticism since its inception. One of the main criticisms of the theory is that it is based on a false premise, namely that Hindus and Muslims are two distinct nations with irreconcilable differences. Critics argue that this idea is based on a narrow understanding of identity and culture, and that it overlooks the fact that India has always been a diverse and pluralistic society, with a rich history of intermixing and exchange between different religious and cultural groups. Another criticism of the two-nation theory is that it contributed to the partition of India and the violence and displacement that accompanied it. The demand for a separate Muslim state was seen by many as a divisive and harmful idea, and it led to communal tensions and conflict between Hindus and Muslims in many parts of the country. The partition of India also led to the displacement of millions of people, with Hindus and Sikhs fleeing from Pakistan and Muslims from India. The violence and trauma of partition continue to be felt by many communities in the region today. Finally, critics argue that the two-nation theory is not a viable basis for a modern nation-state, as it is based on a narrow and exclusionary understanding of identity and culture. They argue that a more inclusive and pluralistic approach is necessary for building a truly democratic and diverse society. Legacy of the two-nation theory. Despite its many criticisms, the two-nation theory continues to shape the political and social landscape of the Indian subcontinent today. The idea of Pakistan as an Islamic state remains a central tenet of the country's national identity, and it continues to be invoked by political leaders and commentators in debates about the country's future. In India, the legacy of the two-nation theory is also felt in the ongoing tensions between Hindus and Muslims, as well as in debates about the role of religion in public life. The idea of a Hindu Rashtra, or Hindu nation-state, has gained increasing support in recent years, with some Hindu nationalist groups calling for a more assertive and exclusive approach to Indian identity and culture. The legacy of the two-nation theory is also felt in the wider region, with the idea of separate Muslim and Hindu nations resonating in other parts of South Asia. The demand for greater autonomy or independence for ethnic and religious minorities in countries such as Sri Lanka and Nepal can be seen as a reflection of the same underlying idea. Conclusion. In conclusion, the two-nation theory remains a contentious and divisive idea in the Indian subcontinent, with its legacy still being felt today. While it played a central role in the demand for Pakistan, it has also been criticized for its narrow and exclusionary understanding of identity and culture. As the region continues to grapple with communal tensions, political instability, and social inequality, it is important to reflect on the impact of this theory and strive for a more inclusive and pluralistic approach to building a peaceful and prosperous future for all communities in the region. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe our channel for more.